Hi everyone, my name's Sandra Gropey. I'm here today in the community forum with Tanisha Salmon. She is the founder of a nonprofit, Begin to Dream. Today's show we're going to talk about Tanisha's experience and how she came about and how you founded this nonprofit and all this exciting news. You know, I'm excited for this in particular because I read your story.
Absolutely. Thank
It's a
you.
Stoughton parent and a member of the community. So it's a great story that folks are starting to hear about, and here at SMAC, we wanted to bring it here and have you talk about it with everyone and share your passion and how you came about this big endeavor, which is quite a story. So, Tanisha, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So, you know, we had a little bit of a time to talk before this, and I got some great insight into how things came about. So do you mind sharing with everyone just how you came to where you are today and what kind of transpired to make you start this nonprofit?
So thank you for having me on the show today. Begin to Dream Again was founded from a heart-wrenching experience I had when my wedding got canceled just 2 weeks before, without any indication as to why he was canceling the wedding, just cold feet. So it was, as anyone can imagine, it was devastating, heartbreaking. All the emotions that you could possibly think of, I was experiencing at that time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was so devastated to the point that I got sick. And I was home just laying there, just crying, just like, why is this happening to me? And then it was just like a small voice that just said to me, you're not rejected, you're protected. Just use this experience as an opportunity to help women who you always inspire to help. And I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
like how can I do this? How is this even, what can I do? And I got up and I called my manager at the time and I said, I have to come to work. And she was like, no, you stay home. And I was like, no, I have to come to work. And I got to work. Part of my duty at the time was to check the mail. I checked the mail and there was a postcard from the women's lunch place, and it had a story about a woman they have helped, and I was back in tears again. I was like, oh my God, I was just
You felt the emotion.
Yes, I was just so broken again.
Yeah.
And I was led to call the women's lunch place. I said, I'm just calling. I don't know what you guys can do with my venue. My wedding just got canceled, but I know that you're a lunch place, and I know you have women there that needs food. I have a venue for my wedding.
Hold on a second. Can I ask you a question right
Yes.
there? So you had the venue, and so the wedding was called off 2 weeks before.
Yes.
And this is lemons on a lemonade. You said, all right, at this point, I have the venue, I can't cancel it. And
Right.
then the women's lunch program, that's a nonprofit as well, just so
Yes.
people can understand. That's a nonprofit where what do they do at that program?
So it's a day, they just come in to eat.
Okay.
They have food there for lunch, and they have resources there as well to help them. Personal care items they could get there. But mainly is just to get a warm meal for the day.
You said, hey, I have this venue. What can we do? This is where this all came from. Wow.
Exactly.
So
They're like, I don't know how we can make this happen, because the woman who comes here, they don't really stay here. They just come to get lunch. So I said, well, I definitely want to use it to help the women. So how can I do that? And another part of their program is to provide personal care items to these women. And I said, well, how about I host an event at this venue, and I could get personal care items I could give to you guys. But I ended up hosting an event at the venue,
Yeah.
and raised $1,500 for the women's lunch place.
Wow.
Donated to them with hundreds of personal care items. And it was during this time that I saw the great need for help for many women who were just broken.
Yeah.
And there were women just like myself who just had a bad snap in life, and they just never recovered from it.
Yeah.
And so I said to myself, I can't just stop right here. I have to continue on this mission to help these women. And all I wanted to do at the time was to give them some personal care items, because when I was there at the women's lunch place, they actually invited me in to get a tour of the place to see how the operations were. I didn't know, honestly, like the depth of the great need that women have, that are just living in our community. And when I got there, I was just heartbroken. I was heartbroken in another way. It wasn't the wedding anymore. It was more like, oh my God, the pain that I'm going through is nothing compared to what these women are faced with every day. And so I got 6 other ladies together, and I said, we have to do something.
Wow.
And when I got up from that heartbreaking experience, just going to work, the voices began to dream again. And that's the name that I named the organization.
And that's how you came about the name of the organization. Wow. Yes. And how long has it been formally up and running now?
About 2.5 years. Currently, we provide services to the shelters. So our goal is to get a safe haven for women who are victims of domestic violence. So we're hoping to get a 3-family home that we could use to home at least 9 to 12 women at a time. And my team and I, we're really working on that project because it's greatly needed. But in the meantime, we also are very active in the community, helping the shelters that provide service to homeless women. Mm-hmm. We go there and we help them with recreational activities. We give them personal care items, clothing. Sometimes we host different workshops for them.
Oh, great.
So that they could, get the help that they really need to transition into a better life, begin to dream again.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do right now. But our long-term goal is really to have that home for them, where they not just stay one night, but we can really help them, nurture them, and get them back to being active in the community.
So is this something that you're focusing on in like the Stoughton community right now, or has it expanded over the 2.5 years to other communities?
Well, we initially started our project in Boston.
Okay.
But we have worked with shelters outside of Boston, and just providing these services to them as well. But ultimately, we hope to acquire a 3-family home that is in an area where they have access to public transportation.
Okay.
Because they need to get access to the services to get back on their feet.
Yeah.
So public transportation is a huge part of the overall project location. So the likes of Boston, the likes of Brockton, it could be Stoughton, because we have the commuter rail here as well. But we haven't really pinpointed that area as of yet.
Yeah, and it's still fairly new, 2.5 years.
Yes.
You're building it up still. It takes time, and there's a lot that you guys have already done. So this is a really big undertaking.
It truly is.
Yes,
It truly
raise
is.
funds. You have to do all those things. So do you have any fundraisers that you run to help bring in? Is it just pure donations, or is there anything that you have coming up as well that people can participate in?
Well, we're planning an end of the year mixer. We'll have the dates for that soon. And we currently host a coat giveaway. So this will be our 3rd year of giving warm coats and winter accessories to the homeless community. Last year we handed out over 150, close to 200 warm coats. So this year we're hoping to expand that number, and we do that on Christmas Eve, but this year will be on the Sunday, December 22nd, I believe that is.
Right before.
Yes. So that's something that we're encouraging the community to help us with. We're always seeking warm coats and in large sizes for this particular event.
Okay. Now I've heard of coat drives. I know the local schools do them, and the Moms Club of Stoughton do a lot of that as well. And they've been doing that for a long time, which is great. So to provide that to people, that really the kids grow out of them so fast, right? So it's something that I'm sure everybody obviously appreciaes. Do you do it for adults as well, or is it little?
It's mainly for adults.
Okay.
It's mainly for adults, men and women. So our program focuses on women, but for this particular event is for men and women. So
your mission statement for your program, if you can, do you have a mission statement that you could explain a little more? And if it's focused on adults, I know it's women, but I love that you still include men in there, because there is a need sometimes, right?
Yes.
Where they might have older, son or whatever's needed.
Well, especially at Christmas time, winter time is everyone. Everyone needs to be warm, whether men, women, children. Everyone needs to have that warmth.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so Begin to Dream, this wonderful program.
Again, yes.
So this is really I would say what I'm getting from it is the focus around it, which is fabulous, because where I work, we have a lot of a professional women's network and things of that nature. Sometimes you don't have the means or the help that you need, just that one little step to get you to that next level, whether it's the confidence or just that foot into that door where you can see a potential, right? So on your nonprofit here, which is again fantastic, Begin to Dream, you guys are focusing on toiletry now. It's toiletry. Are you still in that realm? Are you working with the lunch program to still do like food? What do you do now?
So we haven't done much work since with the women's lunch place, because we've just been primarily focusing our mission on the shelters that really need the help. And the women's lunch place is a shelter that has about 250 beds. So they really don't have a lot of resources there for the women. Unlike the Rosie's place, they have a lot of resources. So we serve as a supplemental to them. So we bring in the services to them to help the women that are staying there. Also, the transitional homes, like the Valentine's home, some of them we can't disclose their name because of privacy. And some of the women are victims of domestic violence. So we go to those little homes and we, play games with the ladies, or we sit and we talk with them. We share we listen to their stories, and it's just amazing. Just like you said, sometimes it's just giving a smile or giving an ear to someone and say, I'm here for you. I'm here to listen. How can I help you?
Yeah.
And I mean, we all can do it. We all have that gift.
Yeah. That impact you probably make, just that one smile, that one day.
Exactly.
You can grab that one thing that lights that fire
exactly.
inside, and that's huge.
And so that's Begin to Dream Again's long-term goal, is to really have that safe haven for these women where they feel safe. They feel nurtured. They feel that they have a second chance of living again. And the way that we're able to do that is to provide that home where they're not just in and out of a shelter, but is to have that consistency of a program that's gonna help them to get back on their feet.
And it sounds like you're really looking to help them where you were at that point, right? In that day, in that moment, in that week, which was, what's going to help me to kind of lift up and say, I got this.
Right.
I got this. What can I, and that's a big deal. That's something that you've taken from your experience and said, how can I help? I know where they've been.
Exactly.
And I think that's huge. I do want to ask you, with all of this stuff that you do, and it looks like it's going to get bigger because you're looking at real estate and trying to even, span out and do more.
Right.
Do you have a job, full-time job as well? Like, is there something else? A little birdie told me this isn't just it, right?
Well, I do wear many hats.
Yes.
I'm a mom. I'm a realtor. I work with Caldwell Banker in Jamaica Plain, and so I sell real estate in the greater Boston area and the South Shore area. I also own a cleaning business.
Oh my gosh.
And that was started to actually provide employment to some of the ladies that are living in a shelter.
Wow. So you're not bored. You're bored. You don't have much going on.
No. And Begin to Dream Again is a project in itself.
So you have all of these different, like you said, you're wearing all these different hats, and you have all these different things that you're doing, which is fantastic. You said that you have a cleaning service that some of these women that you're trying to help and inspire and work with are employees.
Correct.
Are some of these women, are you finding maybe they didn't have a job and this is the thing that helped them push forward? Right,
exactly. And so, when I thought of a more sustainable way to kind of help these women to be productive, the only thing I could think of was, how can I get them to get money on their own, to get job on their own? But it was very difficult because, many of them have backgrounds that don't allow them to be employable in other areas of work, in the workforce. And so I was thinking, well, what can I do to train them, to help them? And so I thought of the cleaning.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I could train them, I could get them jobs, and honestly, it's something that just exploded, and it's amazing. Currently I have 3 of the ladies that work with me, and we work together sometimes. But they're so grateful for this opportunity to someone believe in them, to give them a second chance.
Yeah.
And they're able to get money to do what it is that they want to do.
So I got a question that probably has a couple pieces because I'm interested in this. So this cleaning service, where is it out of and what's it called? What's the name of the company?
It's called Luxury Cleaning, and it's obviously a Stoughton-based
Okay.
cleaning company, but we service the South Shore and the Greater Boston area.
Yeah, that's great, and that's good to know. And what was the name again? Just
Luxuria.
Luxuria.
Cleaning.
Okay, that's great to
Yes.
know. I think that it's nice, especially in this community, for folks to know if they want to support something as well and help these women out.
Absolutely.
Thank
you.
No, of course. So here's the thing. So we talked about, the lemons and lemonades thing. We talked about it before we even started, the program. But you found some type of inspiration in just that day. You woke up, you said, something told you this is what this is what you got to do. You need to go forward. You need to move forward. And as we keep talking, we say, you looked at it and said, someone else's problem is always bigger than what we have. And we talked about that, where I said, sometimes when I'm like, I say, wait a minute, someone else has it worse than I do. Moving on, right? What piece of advice do you give to these women that you could probably say here for anyone that's listening, to when you have those bad days or those bad moments or that bad week? Usually it tends to be a bad couple days, right?
Right.
What's the big piece of advice that you give or would give to people on how to kind of move on and move up?
Well, I am a woman of faith, I believe, and that's how I live my life. I believe that all things works together for the good.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you're experiencing right now, it's part of life's journey. But you have to choose the good out of the bad.
Yeah.
I believe that with faith and knowing that this is happening for a reason.
Yeah.
Reason, I don't know, but I am going to believe that it's something good is going to become of it. So for me, adversities is like when they come, I say, bring it on.
That's right.
Yes, something good is going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's huge.
Yes.
Piece of advice too. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
And I know that there are a lot of people, though. I think when I read an article, I actually have it here. When I read it and I highlighted something that stood out, just it talked about when this first happened, and you had your date coming, and this heartbreak happened, and you said depressed was a word that kind of stood out, because I think a lot of people don't understand depression until you really have that. Right? And we can't say what level of depression someone has or understand it. But I'm sure you see that happen, and I think that the advice that we can say, which is, like, we say lemons out of lemonade, but that's just we're simplifying something that's complex, right?
Right.
How, you've seen it, I'm sure. How can someone really is it baby steps? How do you help mentor or at least give that one person that maybe is a bit depressed or has been down on their luck for a long time and you just see that they didn't have that opportunity. Mm-hmm. Maybe they did, but they weren't ready for it.
Right.
What do you think people can do, or what advice do you give for those people to kind of try, whatever way you can try? How did you do it?
Well, I think being depressed is something that I don't wish for anyone. It's the worst emotion that you could possibly deal with. But I would say take it one day at a time. Yeah. Just one day. Each day that we have is a gift. And use it in the present. Yeah. Just focus on the positive. I know it's very hard to say.
Yeah.
Hard thing to tell someone who's depressed to do. But, for me, I just look at the positive, part of things. with everything that's going on, I said, how can I make this better?
Yeah.
What can I do to feel better right now?
Yeah.
Not thinking about tomorrow or, 10 years from now.
Do they push?
It's just that your present moment, at this present moment, what decision can I make to make this better for me?
Yeah. And we know that there are people at times that just don't have that in them. When they just don't have it in them because it's just a tough time, and it is what it is. But I do think that, like you're saying, it's your program that you have here is that piece that you're trying to for either the people that you can say one day at a time, right? Or it's the ones that one day at a time doesn't work, because we know that there are some people that have been, but this is a support system that you're building. Right. For even if it's sitting and laughing, like you said, and talking.
It is. Talking, I will always go back to my faith, because you have to have a higher power. Whatever your faith is, you have to exercise it. And you have to believe that there's, someone else higher that's in control of your life. And until you understand that and believe that, then unfortunately it will be very hard for you to move on from that place, because you have nothing that you're hopeful for. You don't have anything that you believe in. So
that's the part I think you just hit. It's you don't have anything to be hopeful for. So what's that piece? And I think that some people can have that positive attitude going into everything, and then some just can't because of just the past. And that's what's great about this. Again, it's kind of like, uplifting and trying to kind of, help them see that piece. Now you have all this work, and I know that you said that I'm going to go back to when you said you're looking to buy like a 3-family home to helpfully house some of these moms or women, right?
Yes.
Women. Is it going to be is it just single women, or is it with families, with children? Like what is that? And then what would be your long-term goal after that?
So we just don't want to have a single family home. We want to have several homes, in various communities that will help, women who are victims of domestic violence, because it's a big problem. And there's not a lot of places that you can go to and feel safe. And so a lot of women are choosing to stay in, abusive relationships, and because they don't have any other places to go. And so we want to be able to help them, to build their self-esteem back, build them up, so that they could recover from these experiences that they had. So Begin to Dream Again is not just going to primarily be one home, but we want to have a community of homes.
That's long term. So this is the start, and long term, what your hope is to have multiple homes to help women who may come from bad situations, and get them back on their feet again, and then hopefully help them to get out on their own and move forward with.
Right, and we want to focus our mission on women who are single. Women who have children, there are more resources for them if you have children. But if you're single...
that's helpful to know. That's what I was trying to get to. Thank you. Okay.
If you're single, you have a longer... You're at the bottom of the wait list, pretty much, to get into to any programs.
That's interesting. So, I'm glad that you brought that up. I wasn't sure. And, I know like that you have the program, and I wasn't sure if like some of the women might have a child in an abusive relationship and how that worked out. So you see it, and this is interesting, that they don't have as many resources, and this is where you're trying to bridge that gap.
Right.
And you're trying to bring this in and say, you know, we've got problems across the board. It's not, you know, and it's an
Right.
issue.
Yeah, it's not just women with children,
Yeah.
but it's all women. But unfortunately, those who don't have children or can't have children
Yeah.
are at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
There's really no place for them.
Wow, wow. So this is kind of a rarity. This.
Yes.
Wow. So this is new, and I think that's important for everyone that's watching to kind of know that what you're trying to start up here is something that isn't a broader, you know, offering to the, you know, community.
Right.
Now, what can, if someone that's watching and they're kind of hearing about this, what can they do to help? You know, you with what's going on. I know that you mentioned that you were going to have a mixer coming up, but if someone wanted to reach out, you know, we're going to share those details. But what are you looking for help with right now?
Currently, we are hoping to expand our team. You know, board members, people who are, you know, passionate about helping, especially women.
Yeah.
You know, we could really use the help and the skills from people in our community.
Yeah.
Who are versed in different backgrounds and skills to help put the dream together.
Yeah. And I'm just going to share what your contact information is, just to make sure that if anybody wants to reach out. It's Tanisha Salmon, and it's
Yes.
Begin to Dream Again, which is
Yes.
the wonderful program that we're talking about. You can either call her at 617-818-9979, or you can email her at www.begintodreamagain.org. info@begintodreamagain.org. That is your website.
The
bottom
email.
one, right?
Yes.
Both? Okay.
Yes.
So, oh yeah,
Either
that's yes, yes. So you can go to the webpage, or you can email her. You can give her a call. But if you have any interest in just reaching out and finding out more, and it's a volunteer board position.
Yes.
So if you'd like to help volunteer and help her build this you know, great program, please reach out to her. But also,
Thank you.
yeah, of course, this is great, and in knowing what the whole, what you did coming out of your own situation and seeing past your own you know, issues and hardship, right? And seeing this come to fruition, that's a big deal. You know, it's a pretty big deal, and I'm hoping if anyone wants to help,
Thank you.
they do so.
Well, it's for our community. You
Yeah.
know, it's for the individuals there, and it's not even so much those who are in the shelter too. You know, the homeless community is not just people who are living in shelters. It's people who are living in other people's homes. You know,
Yeah.
having staying at a friend here or a friend there. You know, it's a big problem.
Yeah.
And so with your help, with the community's help, like, we could make a big difference.
Yeah.
In people's lives. And all someone needs sometimes is for someone to believe in them and give them that second chance.
I get it. I do. I get it. I get it. We all want what's best for our community, and that's the people in it, right?
Yes.
So you hope that you can make whatever impact you can in whatever little way you can, and that's why I think it's important if you can try to help out and volunteer or do whatever you can to you know, and that's the big part. But I'd say, you know, like, I know we're showing right now like a picture of you, right, part of the program, and speaking to some of those women, which is empowering. Do you want to talk a little bit about this? What inspires you after seeing this picture?
So this was actually, we were supposed to have a picnic in the park, but it started to rain, and this is at the Woodmullen shelter.
Yeah.
and all the ladies were just gathering, sharing their stories, what inspires them, what they wish they could do in 5 years, you know, just conversations like those. And it was very emotional because, you know, we all have plans for our lives.
Yeah.
And then life really happens.
Yeah.
And so we're just left, and, you know, everyone thinks that their problem is the biggest problem. And we fail to, it's like there's no more empathy. Everyone is just
You said
for
something.
self. And so just talking to these ladies, and one of them said to me, Tanisha, thank you for, you know, for just taking the time to talk to us. Just taking the time, not even to, you know, think of this big vision, but just the time that you're here with us means the world to us.
And I think you had said something when you had an interview once. I'm going to read it. And I want to get your reaction because this is so real, and you kind of just hit it a little, which you said, one advice that I would give to young women is to not compare their lives to anyone else, and that social media is not real.
It's
right?
not.
It's not real. You are uniquely gifted with talents to make the world a better place. Be the change you want to see in the world and give back to your community. The universe will reward you.
Yes.
Now, you pretty much in a nutshell said that, but I thought that statement was powerful because I think a lot of times in this day and age and where we are, social media is a big piece where people compare themselves to what they see out there. Right. A lot of people post the happy moments, but not so much the sad moments. A lot of people can maybe focus on the negative and not the positive. So you tend to get swayed on how you think, and that's a huge statement to someone that maybe depends on that a lot, which I'm sure you may see. That's what people depend on.
Absolutely, absolutely. We live in a social media era where we believe everything we see, and people only show the good side.
Yeah.
They don't show, you know, the tears and everything else that you have to go through in your day-to-day life. And so for the millennials and the young generation, unfortunately, they don't know that that experience that they're having, it's part of life.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of your journey in this walk of life.
I think that this is a wrench, though. It's hard for people to understand when they grow up with social media.
Right,
too.
exactly. Yeah. So, you know, it's always so inspiring to have people from our community, from all walks of life, to come and have conversations, talk to people, share your experience with others.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to, you know, I have to tell you, I was blown away when I started sharing my story about this wedding, because I was like, wow, everyone is going to think, oh God, like what happened to her? You know, she's so beautiful. Why? Something is wrong with her. Yeah. So I was afraid to tell a lot of people what happened. But after I started doing that, I was amazed as to how many women come forth and say, I've had that happen to me.
Wow, really?
You know, I've had this happen to me. Thank you for doing this. I was like, wow, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's amazing how we can heal ourselves when we share our pain.
That's big, because you said that you were afraid of what people would think of you. And that's probably a big piece of the healing process now that you brought forward to everyone based on that experience.
Yes.
Right? Because I think also on the flip side, where people may show a beautiful picture on social media of everything's happy, look at me, I'm doing this, it's fun, but also, not from a personal standpoint, but there's a lot of negativity on the world today, or a lot of just things that are shown that focus on negative, and I'm sure that those people also see that and go, why bother?
Right.
It's not going to change anything. Look, it doesn't matter. Why even help? Why try to get involved, right? Do you find that that's harder to kind of, get out of their minds and push, push them forward? Because it can be intimidating to see a lot of negative things when that's just one side of a coin.
Right. Well, it is definitely hard. It can be overwhelming to see what's really happening. But, that's why I say I would even tell my daughter, limit your time on social media, limit your time on watching TV, and just focus on your purpose, like knowing your purpose and spending your time on your calling and your purpose, and just trying to block out everything else that's going on. Then in turn, you could be that change in the world.
That's right.
But if you keep on, you can't. If you want to be positive, you have to have positive influence in your life.
Yeah.
If you're who you're connected to.
Yeah.
So if you're always hearing the negativity and being around negative people, you in turn become negative.
That's right.
But just focus on the positive. Turn off the TV, limit your time on social media, and
same advice you would give to your own children.
Yes.
And because I think that is a big thing. That called out when I was reading. It was a great article, and just part of that article when I read it was that is a lot of people, especially when I'm in certain groups, volunteer groups, we don't call that out. We just say, we're here to help you, we're here to support you, we're here to give you suits, we're here to coach you through a job interview, we're here to do this, but we really don't talk about the things that maybe are in the back of the mind based on all that, either negative or comparisons of all the perfect world, right? So that I think is big. What I wanted to do is, I wanted to kind of, flip it for a little bit, but what we'll do is I'm thinking we're gonna just go, we're gonna take a quick break to just, get, show and thank our sponsors for today's show. And then after, when we come back, what I want to do is I want to just turn around and talk a little more about your home life, and just, yeah, so that way we can, you do have kids in the community, and I think that it's great that, we have someone, it's like a hidden gem in the town. It's great.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a quick break.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Gary LaPierre, and the crew wants to thank Maxie's Delicatessen. That's at 117 Sharon Street in Stoughton. They're 781-341-1662. American Cancer Society, yes, they're looking for volunteers. Drive cancer patients to and from their treatments. 1-800-ACS-6662, or just go to www.cancer.org. Ilsa Mark's Food Pantry in St. Anthony's Free Market, 2 Park Avenue in Stoughton. For more information, call Christine Gallagher. That's at 781-341-0611 or 781-341-0549. Meals on Wheels. Just ask for Jessica. You'll find her at 781-344-8882, extension 2. Stoughton Penny Saver. Our business is advertising your business, they tell us. 27 Rose Glen Street, Stoughton, 781-344-4833. Community Forum showtimes in Stoughton. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m., Monday at 8 p.m., Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 28. All comments and suggestions welcome. Contact us at communityforum1@yahoo.com. Samaritans, they're at 41 West Street on the 4th floor in Boston, 02111. Their phone number is 617-536-2460. 24-hour helplines for Samaritans, and the number is 877-870-HOPE. That's 877-870-4673. Samaritans, you can find them at 800-252-TEEN. That's 252-8336. or find them online at SamaritansHope.org.
Great. So just for folks that are watching, again, we have Tanisha Salmon here, and if you'd like to reach out to her to learn more about her program, Begin to Dream Again, if you'd like to help out, if you want to get involved, you want to volunteer, please call her at 617-818-9979. You can go to the website, www.begintodreamagain.org, or you can email her at info@begintodreamagain.org. And don't forget, Monday night bingo at Avat Torah Congregation, 1179 Central Street in Stoughton. The doors open at 4:30 and the game starts at 6:30. You better be there. And also, just a reminder on Get Fresh, Stoughton's own cooking show. There's a new episode that's airing right now. If you have Comcast, go to Channel 9, Verizon Channel 28. You can see it Mondays at 5:30, Wednesdays at 8, Thursdays at 9 a.m., and Fridays at 5 p.m. So just bringing this back to our wonderful interview with Tanisha and talking about things, I want to talk about you. I want to, we've been talking about everything that you have been doing and trying to help others and what you're trying to build, but I want to talk about you and, some of the things that, make you happy. Again, you live in Stoughton, you have 2 children, and what would be great is just to kind of talk about that just for a quick sec. So you have an elementary school student, and you have a senior?
A senior in high school, yes.
Yes. So that's wonderful. And all the stuff that we talked about today, these are great life lessons for younger people as well.
Absolutely.
So this is all the things that you kind of talk to them about, and are they involved in what you're doing, your program?
Very much so. So Chanel, who's my older daughter that's at Stoughton High School, she volunteers with Begin to Dream Again. So she's in the shelters, and she, is at some of the events that we host. So just to give her, a greater perspective of life, and to open her up to the real experience people are having in our community, that it's not, she's very blessed to have a home and computer and everything else, but there's a greater need out there, and I think when they go out there and see that, they appreciate things a little bit more.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So yeah, I think that when you are raising the kids and all this great work you're trying to do, you really want to try to instill some of the obviously the values that you have as a family unit, but also the lessons that you're learning as you go through life, right? And how things are going. So you started the nonprofit 2.5 years ago. So your children were obviously here at the time when this happened at the onset, where you pretty much canceled the wedding and all that. How did they react? I mean, that's a whole other piece. While you start this and you're trying to move on, there's that piece as well.
Right. So it was very difficult for them as well.
Yeah.
It's never easy to see mom hurting.
Yeah.
And they saw a lot of that. But, they were part of my inspiration through all this. They were there loving on me and really helping me through this. But what was most important was them seeing how I recovered from it.
That's right.
Because, it's, they're going to experience these adversities in life. And I want to be that example for them too, to say, you have a choice when life happens. You could choose to let it destroy you, or you can choose to become better from it.
Yeah.
And so I've chosen to show them how to become a better and stronger person from the adversities of life, because they're not exempt from it.
Yeah. Well, and that's also, the past is the past.
Right.
As you grow up, and we're older than we, clearly older now, and what you didn't know then, you know now. But it's also moving on from past mistakes, and and taking something out of that and saying, you know what, I don't regret that it happened. What I'm taking away is, how can I change, or not change, really, it's a bad way to say it, because we are who we are. But what can I take away from that?
How can I grow from it?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like, you said they were your inspiration,
Yes.
when you kind of moved on and said, I have to do more, what do I have to do? It must have been it must have been a very hard time to say, I went back to work, I get this postcard and go, I just have to call them. Something hit you and you said, I just have to call them. And when you were planning all that, were the kids part of that planning? Like when?
Yeah, they were. I ended up wearing my wedding dress.
Wow.
To the
you
event.
left some stuff out. Wait a minute. No. Okay. No.
To the event.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
I just I got all dressed up. I wore the wedding dress just like I was getting married. So yes, they participated in that. I did the a poem by Maya Angelou, Still I Rise. So that was a whole. So it was yes, it turned out to be something beautiful at the end.
Absolutely.
But
wow.
Yeah.
So there is so many beautiful pieces to the story. We talk about, and we focus so much on this program, but we also talked about all the things that you're trying to give to them, and life lessons that you even got out of this one experience, which was a lot, right? A lot. But then to hear this, there's like, just so I'm sure that this is something that will hit, and I'm sure you said that you spoke to other people who said it happened to me too.
Yes.
But for this part of the story, for you to say, I wore my dress, I read a poem by Maya Angelou, the girls were there, we still did things, and
Yes.
that must have hit such a different chord with those others as well that had been in that same area. And that's an impact, I'm pretty certain, that your kids they're going to see and say, this is how you overcome, right? This is how you overcome, and I think that's wonderful.
Thank you.
That's amazing. I was not aware of that piece. So
yes.
Yeah, so they helped and they were part of that. And now you have, again, so you have one that's a senior and graduating, and you've done this all
with her, trying to, yes.
What an inspiration that is for little girls and women all around. I think that's a big thing. We have our first female police chief, who my girls go, wow,
Yes.
and we went to that, and I said, look at that, that's a big deal. And this is a big deal. This is something where, people are children and women. These female children and women can look and say, this is, something that happened, and it didn't define me.
Right.
It didn't.
Right.
It can't define me.
Right.
You have to move on and kind of grow from it. So,
absolutely.
kudos to you and to the little ones. Yeah. So 2 girls.
2 girls.
2 girls.
Yes.
Wow.
One is at the Gibbons Elementary, and the high school.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. So that's great. And so we talked about that. I have one in elementary as well, and one in middle school. So it goes fast, right? It goes fast.
Oh my God, super fast.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
I can't believe Chanel is graduating from the high school.
Yeah, but
she started when I moved to Stoughton 12 years ago.
Yeah.
She was in the Gibbons Elementary. So it's just so amazing to see the transition over the years. Like, where did time go?
Yeah.
But I really just enjoy my time living here in Stoughton. I don't really spend a lot of time here because most of my job is in Boston. But just the sense of community that's in this town.
Yeah.
It's great.
Great
and
people.
It's great people.
Yeah.
And the diversity.
Yeah.
So I love Stoughton.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. And it sounds like your kids are striving and enjoying it too, which is wonderful. I think it's great, to see your experience and what you've been through, and to see what's come out of that. And I think it's, something that a lot of people that are watching, a lot of women who are watching, have, been through something impactful like this, and have, not gone as far as creating an organization, but have made a big change in their life and have done things.
Absolutely.
A lot of single parents that are out there, that are, doing the best they can as well. So
yes, and I hear a lot of stories while working on this project, and I have to say they're my inspiration too. It's like, wow, you recovered from that. That's amazing. And so this is why this organization is so important.
Yeah.
Because there's so many others who are just silent in their hurt.
Yeah.
And just no one to talk to, or no support system.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so we definitely want to be able to make that impact.
Yeah. And I think that that's key. And again, just having you in our town and knowing that what you're trying to, do for our community, the in the Massachusetts community, and what you're doing in Boston and trying to bridge the gap and bring in other communities, I think that's huge. So I want to thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
So nice to meet you. It's so nice to get to know you.
Thank you.
This is wonderful, and we will definitely speak again. For sure. I do also want to thank the folks here at SMAC for asking me to come on and host. And particularly, I'd like to name Michael Hammond, Jeff Pickett, Leo McGowan, CJ Mullen, and Roy Cohen. Thank you guys for everything. And for putting the show together today and making us look good, But we appreciate it. Now, again, if anybody wants to volunteer or help out, please, again, reach out to the contact information that we shared. I think that, this is something that as a community, we band together to help people, and this is a good organization. Have a great day, guys.